Welcome to Oculus of the Wise. Welcome, the anointed ones. Every person alive has walked into a room and been forgotten. You walked into a room and became a permanent resident in the minds of everyone who witnessed it. Not because you performed, not because you demanded attention, because something about the way you existed in that space rearranged something in theirs, and they have been trying to undo it ever since. Here is a fact that will rewrite how you understand every strange reaction you have ever received. Heart rate shifts, decision-making slows. Rehearsed behavior begins to fragment. The brain registers this person not as a social presence, but as an environmental change, the same way it registers a shift in gravity or air pressure, not a person entering, a condition changing. That is what you do to rooms. That is what you have always done. And the fact that you never understood why people acted so strangely around you is the very proof that it was never a performance. It was just you, unfiltered. And unfiltered you is the most disruptive frequency walking. If this channel is not already part of your daily architecture, subscribe now. What you are about to hear is not content. It is a debrief on a power you have been carrying your entire life without a manual. Miss this, and you miss the only place that speaks this language without diluting it. Number 1, you weaponized silence, not to be mysterious, but because the noise around you never deserved your voice. You did not go quiet to play a role. You went quiet because the room was full of people performing for each other, and you refused to audition. That was not shyness. That was a sniper deciding the target was not worth the bullet. You chose your moments with surgical discipline. You did not waste language on people who were already committed to misunderstanding you. And when you finally spoke, every word landed like a verdict delivered without appeal. But here is the part that shook them. It was not what you said, it was what you chose not to say. Your silence forced people to sit alone with themselves. No distractions, no noise to hide behind, just the raw, unfiltered sound of their own thoughts. And most people cannot survive 30 seconds of that. They started over explaining things nobody questioned. They laughed at moments that were not funny. They filled every gap with words that only proved how uncomfortable your stillness made them. They were not reacting to your silence. They were reacting to everything your silence exposed. You did not demand attention. Attention stalked you like it knew it belonged there. You did not fill rooms with chatter. You filled them with weight, and weight once felt does not leave. Number 2. You read their hesitation before they knew they were hesitating, because fear always flinches before it speaks. You caught the doubt before they finished packaging it as confidence. The blink that lasted one frame too long. The smile that arrived after the eyes had already told the truth. The way they chose their words like someone picking up broken glass, carefully, slowly, terrified of the cut. You did not need a confession. Their body already gave you everything. While most people wait for the obvious, you are already 3 layers beneath the surface. Tracking inconsistencies they do not even know they are broadcasting. The nervous twitch wrapped in a compliment. The question that was too specific to be casual. The overcorrection that screamed guilt louder than any admission ever could. You were never paranoid. You were calibrated. Betrayal taught you where to look. Disappointment trained your peripheral vision. And now you see patterns the way a meteorologist sees weather before it arrives, while everyone else is still debating whether to bring an umbrella. They thought they were testing you with their little probing questions, their strategic flattery, their rehearsed curiosity. They did not realize you were the exam, and they were failing it in real time. Number 3. You did not walk in trying to impress anyone. You walked in and accidentally exposed everyone who was trying. You never dressed in performance. You never calibrated your energy to match the room. You just showed up as yourself fully without apology, and that alone was enough to crack every facade within a 10-foot radius, because authenticity in a room full of theater does not blend in. It burns. It holds up a mirror that nobody asked for and nobody can look away from. They watched you move without seeking permission, and it destabilized something they had spent years building, their carefully managed personas, their borrowed confidence, their approval-dependent certainty. You did not strip them of anything. You simply refused to confirm the illusion, and without your confirmation, the illusion had no legs. Some people hated you and could not name why. Others could not stop thinking about you and hated that even more. But either way, you left something behind that could not be unfelt. You did not chase the spotlight. The spotlight chased you like a debt collector who knew exactly where you lived. And that is the kind of presence that does not negotiate, it just arrives. If what you are hearing right now is activating something deep, something that has been waiting years for someone to describe it accurately, leave a comment below, not a reaction. A signal flare. Because somewhere in this community tonight, someone is scrolling through these comments looking for one sentence that proves they are not imagining their own power. Your words might be the sentence that saves them from another year of doubt. Number 4. Your scars did not make you cold. They made you the most dangerous kind of warm, the kind that sees the fire coming and walks through it like it owes you rent. They think you are detached. They read your calm as distance. But what they are looking at is not a wall. It is a weapon that took years of pain to forge. Every wound became a filter. Every heartbreak became a lesson your body now runs automatically. You do not flinch like you used to because you have already survived every version of the thing they think will break you. You stopped reacting. You started reading the room the way a chess player reads a board, not piece by piece, but entire positions at a glance. Pain taught you how to sit still when everyone else panics. Disappointment taught you how to wait until the lie gets tired and takes off its own mask. You do not chase closure anymore. You do not beg for explanations. You observe, you assess, and you let people show you who they are at their own pace. Because people always show you, you just have to be still enough to let them. That is why they call you intense. Because people who move through fire without screaming make the people still afraid of matches deeply uncomfortable. You are not fearless because you have never been hurt. You are fearless because you have already met the worst and came back with notes. Number 5. You did not expose them. You let them self-destruct while they thought they were winning. You could have called them out from the beginning. You had the evidence on day 1, but you did not because you understood something they never will. Truth does not need an audience to be real. It just needs time. So you waited. You watched them smirk behind fake kindness, manipulate the room, celebrate small victories that were already expired, and you said nothing. Not because you could not, because the clock was already running and they did not know it. Every lie they told, every little act of ego, every backhanded compliment they thought was invisible, you logged it without flinching. You were not building a case. You were watching them build their own. And when the collapse came, it did not come from you. It came from the weight of their own performance finally exceeding what the stage could hold. That is what hurts them the most. Not that they got caught, but that you knew from the very beginning and let the story write itself. You did not need to drag them down. They handled that on their own, slowly, thoroughly, publicly. You just refused to interrupt. Like this video right now, not as a gesture, as a stamp. A mark that says you recognized yourself in this and you refuse to scroll past your own reflection. The algorithm does not comprehend what this frequency carries, but momentum does. And your action in the next 3 seconds determines whether the next person who needs this at 2 in the morning will ever find it. Number 6. You never competed because competition requires someone in your category, and that roster has been empty for a long time. You were never in their race. You did not look sideways to check who was keeping up. You were the reason they started running in the first place. While they were measuring themselves against each other, you were building something so far outside their coordinate system that comparison became mathematically impossible. They tried to decode you, studied your style, your timing, your delivery, but they were reverse engineering the surface of something that operates from the core. They copied the formula and missed the fire, because what made you undeniable was never the method. It was the origin, and origins cannot be downloaded, replicated, or taught in a weekend seminar. You did not have rivals, you had spectators. And the distance between watching and becoming is a canyon most people will spend a lifetime standing on the wrong side of. Number 7. Their version of ambition looked like a trailer. You were the uncut film. You never called yourself a hustler. Your results did that work while you were asleep, while they were posting productivity screenshots and bragging about how little they rested. You were building quietly, relentlessly, without a single announcement. You did not glamorize the grind. You outgrew it. Your ambition was not performance. It was personal, not for the audience, for the standard. And that is what shook the room. You did not expose their fake ambition with words. You exposed it by existing. Your consistency made their chaos visible. Your discipline made their routines look like costumes. They talked about drive. You embodied it. They posted vision boards. You executed yours. They clocked long hours going nowhere. You moved with a quiet kind of power that does not explain itself because it does not have to. They asked for potential. You gave them proof, and proof does not negotiate. Number 8. You did not just play their game. You studied who rigged the board, memorized the pattern, and built a kingdom they cannot even find the entrance to. You were never interested in climbing a ladder someone else built to keep you busy. While everyone scrambled for approval, you were mapping the architecture, who wrote the rules, who profits from obedience, why the system rewards noise and punishes depth. You did not just see through the game, you saw through the people who designed it, and once you saw that, you could not unsee it. So you stopped playing entirely, you built your own, not a seat at their table, an altar, a space carved from your own blueprint, designed around values they never considered, because values do not scale as well as compliance. And the wildest part is watching the same people who dismissed you now circling your perimeter, echoing your language, studying your moves like students, cramming for an exam they already failed. They went from who does she think she is to how do we get her attention so fast it left skid marks on their credibility. Hypocrisy really does wear a desperate face when the person they tried to bury becomes the ground everyone else wants to stand on. This message did not find you by accident. Nothing about your journey has been accidental. Every scar was tuition for a degree the world does not offer. Every closed door was architecture, clearing the path for a version of you they were never meant to contain. This channel exists as a gathering point for that frequency, and it continues because of those who understand that some signals are too vital to let the noise drown. If this transmission shifted something structural in you, there is a link in the description and in the pinned comment where you can support this work directly. What you contribute does not sustain a channel. It extends a lifeline. It guarantees that the next person who wakes up at 3 in the morning, wondering why they see what nobody else sees, will find these words waiting like a fire someone refused to let die because they knew a stranger was walking toward it in the dark. You are not donating. You are leaving a lantern on a road you have already walked for someone who has not arrived yet, and that lantern will outlast every algorithm built to silence this frequency. Share this with one person, the one who carries that same terrifying accuracy and still believes something is wrong with them. Comment what you recognized. Subscribe if you have not already, because every transmission you miss is a mirror that will not appear twice, and some mirrors are the only thing standing between you and another year of wondering whether the road you are on is real. It is real. You are real. And what you carry was never a malfunction. It was always the mission. Stay sharp, stay undeniable, and never apologize for being the person they still cannot stop thinking about. God bless you.